Well, folks, once again, this is Captain Boat Builder coming to you from my basement boatyard. Still nice and warm and comfortable down here. It's been quite a while since I've posted, 6 months, maybe more. You know how they say sometimes life just gets in the way. And I've been quite busy with my friends and family, doing a lot of things, traveling, and I've spent quite a bit of time over the summer sailing in some of the other small boats that I have access to. And I try to sail as much as possible. But now here in the Southeast, the weather has turned cold and gloomy, and I'm back to working on the boat. So in today's episode, this is a catch up on what I've been doing. It involves some of the projects, mostly the rigging for the boat. And I hope that you'll enjoy this episode. And again, my apologies for being away for so long. Just some more little bits and pieces here. I've completed the final sanding for the last coat of epoxy. I'm going to put one more coat of epoxy on the deck and the railings. A little thing that I figured out, I was trying to be sure that I could protect the top sides, because that painting is all finished and I didn't want any solvents or any epoxy or anything like that getting on the top sides. So I've used this pre-taped paper as a guard, and when you order it, this is what it looks like. It unfolds 24 inches wide, and it's got tape at the top, and it's very, very easy to use, and it's also easy to drop. And you can put it around the sides of your boat to protect the painted surfaces. So I'll be cleaning up the dust and putting on the last coat of epoxy, and then that'll be the beginning of the varnishing. Well, folks, down here in the basement boatyard, just wanted to show you the results of an awful lot of sanding, and painting and varnishing and epoxy work. The boat is pretty much finished. As you can see, the top sides are finished, the bottom is finished. I have one final coat of varnish to go. On the inside, there's just a little bit of touch-up, but not much. So it's pretty much finished. We got a really nice finish on the top sides. I still have just a little bit to do with the varnish. This will be the last coat. And I just wanted to remind you that, probably it's my own personal insanity, but this varnish is actually probably 5 or 6 layers of epoxy resin that's been sanded, block sanded by hand over and over again. And then I think I'm up to 6 or 7 coats of varnish. So this kind of finish, if there's a faster way to do it, I don't know what it is. The inside is finished except for some touch-up. The dagger board is finished also with probably 5 or 6 coats of epoxy, block sanded, and then 6 or 7 coats of varnish. I still have to make the little handle for it. But the dagger board is almost finished. The interior paint job is finished. The tiller is done. The rudder is now finished. I'm especially happy with the rudder. I don't know whether you can quite pick it up with this camera, but the finish is about as good as I can possibly make it. Again, 5 or 6 coats of epoxy, each one heavily sanded, followed by 6 or 7 coats of varnish, each one sanded individually. And you can see the sheen, or the gloss if you want to call it, in the top sides. This paint that I used is exceptionally good for producing high gloss. So this is what the boat looks like. I have some hardware to add, hiking straps, some blocks, and some line, some shock cord, that sort of thing. But the boat is essentially finished. So I just wanted to show you all this before all of our friends and neighbors get together. Once again, even though we've done it before, we're going to have another cocktail party on the boat with the usual suspects. I hope you enjoy it. It's sort of silly, but we have a lot of fun with our friends. Okay, so folks, here we are in the basement boatyard, and what we're doing is we're having the party on the boat number 2, which we have had in the past. And so tonight we're going to start with our boat name, our aquatic name, and I'm Captain Boat Builder, and right here my bride of 51 years is
Spinnaker.
She's Spinnaker. She remembers. And we're going to go around the boat. This is a good thing to do with a boat. You can just put your cocktails on it. And everybody is going to suggest a name for this boat, and they're going to try to come up with a reason for the name. So, Spinnaker, you are on the spot.
I think my suggestion would be Sail Away. Because,
Great!
Because that's your favorite thing to do in the whole world. So I think this boat should be Sail Away, so you can sail away.
Excellent. Flounder?
Flounder here. I think it should be called Udderless because it rhymes with rudder.
And what would an udder be? Is that like a cow?
It's a male or female. Well, we won't go there because I'm going to get kicked off of YouTube.
All right, next.
Good enough.
Yes.
And I think it should be called Headless Vector because it's all airspeed and no direction.
Okay.
And I'm Loafer, and I'm going to call this Pilot Boy for Knox.
Whoa.
If you all don't know, in his previous life before boat building, he was a pilot.
Okay.
He piles it here, he piles it there.
My turn.
Oh, did you look at the basement?
Bowman.
Boat name
not
is
allowed.
Bocat.
No.
Bow and cat.
Oh.
And I think the name of this boat should be Skinny Water because it looks very tippy and you may have to build some outriggers for it.
I agree.
Have you seen the keel? It goes all the way to the floor.
I think the name of the boat should be Fly Away because it's a piloted boat, and you're going to be sailing away. So that's my name.
Cute.
Okay.
I'm Party Bodge. Sounds good. And I think it should be unlimited possibilities.
Ah, that's there you go.
Because you have unlimited opportunities to sail with this every day, as long as the weather's good. You never know where it will bring you.
Do you know how old we all are? Oh, you're up.
Take over. Kathleen's like, you're up.
Howie and Wahini say it should be
Second
attempt.
Ah, that's a good one.
And
Is that a reflection on my?
the second attempt.
Is that a reflection on my sex life?
Yes!
Oh, get your head out of the gutter, Captain.
I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm good once as I ever was.
Wait. Is this edited by a 14-year-old?
Ah, please. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much. And for the regular viewers on my YouTube channel, there must be at least 4 or 5. You may remember that we've had this party on the boat before, and you can see that none of us have matured at all since the last party on the boat. So thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
Happy sailing. Happy sailing.
Folks, now for this section of the presentation, I want to concentrate on the rigging for the boat. In a sense, it's quite simple, but for some reason it took me a long time to figure this out and get it exactly the way I wanted it. I got a lot of information from this rigging guide for the Viola 14, and this is done by, and again, sorry on the pronunciation, Joost Engelen, and he's available at joostengelen.com. He's been very helpful to me. This is a very detailed booklet. You can see there's an awful lot of pages here, and it's complete rigging for the boat. Some of the ideas I've taken from the guide, and some of the ideas are my own, and we'll see if they work very well. Very simple, but we'll start up here on the bow. For the bow line, or sometimes it's referred to as the painter, I decided just to use some of this paracord with a little ball on the end, and drill the hole in the front of the boat so it's easy to use, easy to take care of. This stuffed paracord is available online. It's relatively small, it's easy to work with, it's fairly strong, and it's cheap. As we move back here, this shock cord assembly that I have that's connected to the mast right here, doubled up and down to the deck. This is designed to hold the mast in place if you should happen to capsize. And given the width of this boat, I think it's highly possible. For the setup for the vang, which is here, I chose to use these braided Dyneema loops held in place with a little strap here and a ring. For the downhaul, it's very simple, doesn't require much mechanical advantage. See, we have a hook up here that's going to go into the grommet in the sail to hold the sail down. This particular little jam cleat is made by a company called Clam Cleat, and it's clever. It's easy to use, it jams easily, but it has a cutout right here, and if you loop the line around and tie it, it effectively works as a becket to double your purchase. Up here where the boom connects to the mast with the gooseneck, because I didn't want this popping out, I've rigged up a shock cord here on both sides with a little hook and a ring to keep the forward pressure there so that it stays connected. And as we go aft, you can see that this is the swiveling jam assembly by Ronstan. This is for the outhaul. And got a little ball down here on the end, and it goes right into the carbon fiber boom, goes all the way down the end of the boom, comes out of this little exit box through a little bit more of this braided Dyneema loop. This will slide back and forth for adjustment up to this carabiner, which connects to the clew to adjust the sail. Also, I put a little bumper here because when I dropped the mast in the boat, I didn't want this end of the boom rather, to be scratching the paint. Going forward, this is the setup I have for the main sheet. Another Dyneema loop held in two places, a little ring, another carabiner, down to this block and tackle assembly with a jam cleat, which I like, jams up. One thing that took me quite a while to find was this particular piece of hardware. This is a swivel connection. It just happens to be the exact right size to fit on the back side of the daggerboard trunk. This is available through Duckworks out in the Pacific Northwest. And this spring is in here so that when this is loose, you can see it doesn't fall down. It stays up, which is the way I wanted it. Here's a connection of the vang to the boom. Again, another double Dyneema loop, carabiner for quick release. And the whole block and tackle setup is probably much more powerful than it needs for a rig this size. Here, another carabiner and a loop for quick disconnect. Going down to the dagger board, this is a little handle that I've made, again, using the paracord line, which is easy to work with. If you go online, you'll find a million different braid patterns. They're very easy to do. I've installed these bumpers on both sides so that when the board goes all the way down, that's where it's going to stop. I also have this shock cord which connects to the ring forward, and this shock cord keeps the board forward in the trunk, which I think is going to be the correct position. In the cockpit, I've put down this self-stick non-skid paneling made by a company called C-Deck. I thought it was important to have that because the paint is going to be quite slippery when it's wet, so this will keep my feet from sliding around. Also, with the hiking straps, I use these hiking straps. They came from this company called Zyke. You can read that upside down. They make super high quality products. These are their replacement hiking straps for the laser class. I bought 2 of them. You can see they're bolted in here and they're quite stiff. So it looks like they're going to stay up by themselves without shock cord to lift them. Got a little bit of line here to keep some tension on the back. Got them tensioned the way I like them. That just goes through the drain holes and it's tied in the back. And did finally get the hiking stick installed. And one last little piece of equipment that I put on, again, figuring that there's probably a good chance that I'm going to capsize, is I use this shock cord right here and another hook so that when I do capsize, the rudder will not come off, that the pintles will not come out of the gudgeons and have your rudder float away while you're worried about other things. So I'm pretty much finished with the rigging. I was able to use this lower section of the mast that you can see right here. This hasn't been painted yet, but that actually is the mast. And it was very helpful to set this up using that to get the rigging the way I wanted it, the right position and the right length on all the lines. So these are the ideas that I have used in the rigging. You might like them for your own build. It's pretty simple. You just have a main sheet, vang, glue out hole, the down hole, a couple of lines to keep the board from moving around, and another one to keep the mast in the boat if you flip over. A couple ideas here you might like. So again, been spending quite a bit of time doing this. It looks relatively simple, but it took me a while to get it just the way I like it. And except for a little bit more work here on the varnish, the boat is mostly finished. So once again, I'm glad to be back, glad to be making these presentations for you. I hope you've learned a little something, hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.